Hello everyone, welcome to the video. Today I'll be doing a tutorial on Space Engineers. So I hope you guys enjoy. We will be walking through what to do first, how to get started, and just how to play the game in general. So yeah, tutorial series. So we'll be doing that. If you guys have any questions, leave a comment down below in the video, and I will try to respond to you in a timely manner. Or you can join the community Discord server, which I'll have linked down below, and you guys can join from there. And then you can send me messages and ask away. Then I will try to ask to the best of my ability, and maybe make a video on it in the future. So anyways, this is Space Engineers. You go to new game, then you, instead of doing scenarios, because this is all like pre-made scenarios, and like they're okay, but they're probably not what you're looking for the most part, unless you're just looking to fuck around for a bit. What you want to do is go to custom games, go all the way down to start system, and then name your world whatever. So like as had a tutorial series, and if you want to do creative survival in it, that's up to you. Online mode, the cool thing about this game is you can host a non-dedicated server just straight off the game pretty easily, and it works kind of well for the most part. You can make it private, friends, public, whatever you want to do. Change the player mode and put on autosaves. If you go here, this is where you change the mods. Any sort of mods for like any sort of like scripts or anything like adding NPCs, hostile NPCs and all that. This is where you add them. So you left click, bring them over. You do this to put on all active, do this to deactivate them, or you simply collect them back. Advanced, you go here. I typically just keep the settings the same. I have block limit turned off. I typically have that turned off. I don't know why that was enabled, because block limit's annoying. It's best to have at least 5 backup saves, because some stuff can happen in this game that's kind of finicky and stupid and causes issues. So you definitely want to keep those backup saves and have a decent amount of them. You could have enabled spiders and wolves. The wolves and spiders will just be there to be a nuisance, so I'm gonna have them on. So yeah, that's it. You also can turn on experimental mode if you want to have experimental mode, so you can have scripts and everything else. You have to go to the actual settings of your game and enable a checkbox, and that's simple. So let's get started and see what happens. So if any of you guys are unfamiliar with Space Engineers is a game about you landing on a distant planet, building a base, surviving, whether that's to get oxygen right away or just, fight off the natural inhabitants of the world. It's essentially the game. So you basically it's just another survival game, but space themed. So I think it's kind of a fun game to play, because space is just always a cool thing to think about. Okay, so these are the different spawn points. You do Titan drop pod, which is a hard. I've never been on Titan, but it's a very interesting planet, I've been told. Same as Europa. Wow, these are new planets. Okay. So there's Mars, which on Mars is a relatively normal, easy one, but it's probably better to start on Earth-like planet for everyone that's new to the game. It's probably going to be your best chance, or to maybe go to Space Pod. But with Space Pod, you will have to find ice right away, and keep in mind of your power and everything else. So if you're just starting out, I would do Earth-like drop pod. These other ones, the spacesuit's kind of just like if you want to throw yourself into the planet or whatever. But yeah, if you're new here, if you're new to the game, Earth-like drop pod. If you're unfamiliar with the game, let's do a respawn. Okay, once I'm loaded in, if you want to go to third person, hit V, and this is your drop pod. This drop pod will be your lifeblood for the next however long until you get an actual base of operation set up. So it looks like we're landing on top of a mountain. If you were to want to choose a new respawn point and you're a single player, hit F5, then you do a quick load. But I think I'm pretty satisfied with this spot. Looks like I'm going to be next to some ore. Looks like there's some ore patches there. I'm not quite sure. Oh. Okay. Interesting. So my ship decided to flip over, and that's fine. We can make this work. So hit V to get back into first person. And this is your lifeblood. This is your O2 H2 generator. This is where all the oxygen and the hydrogen you will need for starting off will start. If you're on an Earth-like planet, hit J to open up the helmet. See in the bottom left there. PM open and closed. Keep it open. And yeah, so O2 H2 generator takes ice, which ice turns to oxygen and or hydrogen, which hydrogen is using your jetpack. So yeah, okay, my damage is weird. What is happening with my jetpack? I don't know. Yeah, it usually lets you hover, but something's off my jetpack. So yeah, there's the jetpack. That would be your friend for getting around. Do be careful whenever you're flying around, you run out of fuel, because you will bounce down hills and everything. So jetpack will be there to save you from dying, maybe. But anyways, O2H generator makes oxygen and hydrogen. Hydrogen is used for jetpack, oxygen for breathing, of course, on oxygen-rich space planets. Back here's just a survival kit. Just a survival kit is a product that allows you to refine rock into ingots on 100 rock at a time to make X amount of ingots. This is what you'll be using to make your raw material at first. So you'll be using the rock to turn into refined products such as iron, which iron will be used for steel plates. And steel plates will be the foundation of your base, soon to be base. You also can recharge your stuff on your survival kit here if you hold F. And over here's your battery. I'm 3 out of 4. Now if I were to hop back in my ship with F and hit K, I go into the control panel. The control panel is going to be very useful in telling us how everything's doing. So if I do battery, I approximately have 2 days until I'm depleted. So I got plenty of time to work on stuff. Let me try to get my ship flipped over. So this is your drill. If you hit number 3, and left click will collect materials, and you double click left click to have it on auto. Now to turn that off, you click once, and there you go. Right click to remove material in a big chunk, but not get any of the material out of it. If you double right click it, it turns to auto as well. So let's try to get this flipped over then. So you hit F on these rocks. The topsoil of the planets will usually not be very rich in rock, so the further down you go, the more rich it will be, the more efficient it will be overall. So the first thing first I want to probably do is try to make a gyro on my ship. So today I'll be showing you just how to make this flyable. So to do that, we probably should throw a rock in here, which you either can drag over and do that, or you can double click to go back and forth, and it goes to the top on emptiest inventory, or you can do control left click, you do 10 at a time, or shift left click, do 100 at a time, or control shift left click and do all of it. So in order to turn this stone into some type of product, you go to production, and you go to ingots. Now you can queue this up in groups of 10, 100, or 1,000. I would just do 1,000 because you're going to need all the material you can get. As you can see, what the products are being made from the stone are gravel, iron, nickel, and silicone. Now nickel and iron will be most important right now. Silicone we use a little bit. Silicone's mostly used for solar panels as of now, and gravel as a byproduct is pretty useless for the most part, unless it's for reactors, which reactors you won't be able to get for a while. So just trying to get enough material to get a gyro. And in order to find out what we need for a gyro, here, let's go to our next hotbar, which you can do by control 2, and go switches between your hotbars. So if I do control 1, it goes to my main one, which is the default one set up by it on Keen. If you do control 2, it brings us to the next hotbar group. If you hit G, you get to this toolbar config, which is very important. Now depending on whether you have progression on or off, you will have to build certain blocks before you can build other ones, which I currently have it on. So the first thing I will have to do is here. We will have to grind on one of these landing gears. Let me go here, and you see the landing gear on the right side, and you see that line where it says functional. if you just grind this down just slightly below it, then weld it back up, I've unlocked new blocks, which can be very useful. So now what I want to do is go back to G, progressions. Actually, do I have the gyro unlocked yet? I don't think I do. No, I do not. Okay, so gyro. What do I need for a gyroscope? I think I need a cockpit, right? Yeah. So I need a cockpit. So the first things you want to do is you want to hit G, of course, open this up, and you want to do a cockpit. Cockpit here. First, you want to go into your ship here. Hit I and pull out your guns. So you have a S10 pistol with 4 magazines and some a fucking GPS marker. Ignore those, hop out, and now it's time to grind out this piece right here. So what you want to do is grind these out of the way so you get in there a little bit easier. Hop in and grind down the passenger seat. Okay, that landing gear became loose. Time to get rid of it. Anything loose in your ship when you're flying around is dangerous because it will destroy your ship in a matter of seconds if given the time. So what I want to do is just cut more of this away. This is worthless material that we don't need. It's extra weight. Pull that back up. Okay, now let's get this cockpit set up. And as you can see, it's turning red. Not quite sure why. There we go. It's because, there we go. Now it's in the proper spot where I can place it. I just want to left click it. And now you can see everything that you need for it. So right now, all I need is computers and displays. So I need 15 computers and 5 displays. So we'll build those real quick. Right, now we just have the weights. Your survival kit will act as a smeltery or refinery and a assembly machine at first. So like I said, this will be your lifeblood. This drop pod will be your lifeblood for a while. Until you figure out other options. Or until you get a base of operations set up. Okay, so if you right click on the cockpit, you see at the bottom it says added to build planner. Now that's added to the build planner. If you hit G, go down here. It's added to the build planner. And it'll pull all the material you need from it. So now I can just do that. And we can weld this up. It didn't build the displays, it did. I don't think it did. Now I'm missing silicone. So silicone's used for displays and such. Or solar panels in general. So it's not very useful, but it's useful enough. So let's try to land a little bit lower for the ship so it can flip over by itself. Oh, shh. Thank God for backups. So guys, that's why you have backups. Make sure not to destroy your survival kit by accident, like I did there, because you will be screwed. Fun fact. So I'm just gonna dig away from my ship. Never try to dig near it, because it will by chance break it. So here, let's just. Oh, I threw my components in there by holding Alt, then middle click, and deposits all possible components that I can. So let's just start a hole right here. Yeah. If I just hold the right click, so how big it is. See how the land has changed? Now this is rock. This is where we get the most yield from. Well, it's not the most yield, but better yield for rock. So if I start digging down, collecting more and more of it, it'll be fine. Okay, now we can go back up to a survival kit and throw a rock in, which you can do Alt middle click. Deposits all the rock or any raw material away. Let's go back down and continue mining. At the very beginning, this game's all about just mining at first. Oh no, I didn't get queued up. Okay, so we can right click that and we can shift middle click. Okay, that should have added that to the queue, but oh, okay, see, it added it to queue. So what that did was shift middle mouse button and it added everything from the build planner onto the assembler or whatever you're looking at on building queue. So it should start building this soon. There we go. It's making the displays and the computers for us, in which we need. Alright. As you can see, all we have to do is just get up to the functional part. We do not need the bulletproof glass. Bulletproof glass is there for extra durability of the block. It's not really required at this point. But yeah, here now we can do that. And now we can look up gyro. Now gyroscopes are what's responsible for helping you control your pitch, yaw, and roll of your machines, or just your apparatuses. So you want to make sure that you have one of these, especially if it's flying. If you're on ground, you can maybe get away with it, but anything that's a rover or moving, definitely have a gyro on it. One large steel tube. Oh yeah, I can't make that. Okay. So, in order to get the large steel tube, since our survival can't make it, what we had to do is go up here, and we had to break down this hydrogen thruster, which will give us 2 large steel tubes. There we go. Now we can go here, weld this up, and voila, we have a gyro now. Now we will be able to control or pitch, yaw, and roll a little bit more controllably. And as you can see, I can move up and down now. But the first things first we need to do is we need to hit this I, typed in thrust, and we need to turn all these to show in terminal and toggle them on. So now that we have that set up, what we need to do is start digging a hole over here. Okay, so now this is in good position. Now we can jump up here, do this, and we can hit C to bring down the downward thrust of our thrusters. Let's hit V so we can see a little bit easier. Okay, maybe not. Actually, might have made it worse. Okay, actually, how's our landing gear? Is our landing gear turned off? Are the majority of our landing gear broken? What is going on? No, it's just not wanting to turn on. Okay. Okay, landing gear. We can show those in terminal. And we assign these to group by clicking one, shift, okay, hold on, why is this not working? Okay, so click one, shift, click the next one, and we make block groups. Block groups will allow us to assign certain blocks to a certain group. So we can do landing, gears, save, and once we're in the cockpit, we can have G, go to groups, go to landing gear, pull this down, and I like to do switch locks. Is there stuff loose in here? Is that why we're having issues? There's stuff loose in the back here. So we can take off the top here. So obviously it's not important. There's a voxel here. Oh, fuck. Okay, this is a little awkward. What am I hitting? Am I hitting my cockpit? I don't know. Oh, there's a I loosened my gyro. Oh, little hitbox. Hitboxes in this game are a little finicky sometimes. Here, just get the gyro. And now let's replace our gyro right back here. There we go. There's that damn voxel, okay. So since we don't have no gyro, we can't control any of our pitch or roll. So let's get this back down. Right there. Gee, let's get it so it's connected. So it's on a little bit firmer foothold. Put it right there. And now we can get in. We can hold C to flip back up. Hit space to lift up. Lift up. Okay, now we are flying. Not very safely though. Oh, not really at all. But are we stuck in something else? I have no idea. Okay. See, now we're able to move. Now keep in mind, you are having only downward thrust, so you can't control your back and forth unless you tilt. Which tilting is very important, which having back to forward and just side to side motion is very important. It makes life a lot easier. So now that we know how to get this flying, we can move around. You hit shift to go up, C to go down. You use on E and Q to tilt. You don't want to tilt too much, especially with this thing, because you will flip and fall to your side and die. On D to move side to side. Oh wait, no, we don't have those movements yet. Haha, forgot. Okay, so what I want to do is just land this back down. Doesn't matter exactly where. We just need to get this landed. But now if we really want to, we can go exploring with this. Now the thing is, do you really want to? Probably not. Probably something you want to set up is a static grid, which a static grid is a non-movable grid that we'll be using for power generation and everything within that realm. So now that we're landed, we have 2 days of power instead of those 1 hour that was shown before. So now what you want to do is just continue making material, which we need iron, so we need to make some steel plates. Now you need these steel plates in order to make large light armor blocks, which will be the foundations of our static grid. When you have the light armor block, which is number 4 by default on the main hotbar, now it's out. Now you hit 4 again, this gives you the small grid variant. What we want for the static grid is a large grid. Now in order to rotate it, you can see in the top right, it shows you what buttons to hit. So for me to move it side to side, it's page up and delete to tilt it. If I want to just turn it in a yaw motion, then I use sorry, delete and page down for yaw control. Insert and page up for tilting, for roll, sorry. Then you want home and end for controlling the pitch. So what we want to do is just get rid of that and bring it back to default. We don't want any of that right now, especially when trying to make a base. And let's just start placing down light armor blocks. Now you typically want to make a relatively big platform. You basically need to be able to have a wind farm on there, along with assembler, refinery, and possibly connector for this ship once you get the time. So you want to grab those those steel plates that we got, and we'll continue building. Now in the beginning, it's a lot of just hand mining, which kind of gets a little tedious, but if you just keep going, then you'll be okay. So let's just extend this one more, then that should be good. And we're out of material, so it's time to go back mining. And if you look in the middle there, you see required and available. The required is the first, so we need 91,000 stone in order to make what we have queued up. So that's a nice indication, and we only have 400 available. Now we're not gonna refine all of our material this way forever. This is just a temporary thing until we get our own assembler and refinery set up at our static base, which we will need. Because we cannot survive off this very long, especially since our power generation for it is very limited, and all we can do for it is nuclear, which we don't have access to. So we would have to do solar, which solar is not very effective, and the sun will only be out half the time, so we will not make enough power to last us. Okay, so now that we have this grid set up, we can start on building our base. On here, let me just get rid of the solar panel because we're not going to use that, and we're going to use a connector block. So conveyor. Do I not have conveyors unlocked? I think I need to bake it. Okay. So what we will do is that we will go to assembler, and as you can see, this is the basic assembler. Now if I rotate around, You see that orange port right there? That's what will connect it up to the logistics network of our base. So you want to make sure on this big square will line up another big square, because otherwise this thing will not have access to anything. So what we want to do is do this, rotate it like so, and hit 1. We'll hit 1. We'll one-click it. Oh my god! You're supposed to off this. It's done. It's a little awkward. So anyways, con. Oh, that's fucking cool. Okay. And if you kill wolves, okay, you used to be collecting material off of them, but I guess not anymore. It's all in the case. Okay, sometimes you can. Okay, look, this one had free computers. So that's a good thing about having wolves, but they're also annoying as hell. So for the most part, you probably want wolves turned off, and maybe spiders turned on, because by the time you get to the alien planet, you will have guns. At least I would hope so. So now that we have the basic assembler, let's start welding it up. And to add it to the build planner, remember to hold right click. See, now it's added to the build planner. Now we can run over here, and we can shift middle mouse. Everything will be added to the queue. Exactly what we need. I'm not sure if you guys saw, but there's the unknown signal. That's 2.06 kilometers away. Those will give you free material and a free skin from the game. So if you want to go after those, you can. I would not do that right away though. I would wait until you actually have a base operation set up, so you're not wasting too much time. But if you have a lot of stone into this respawn pod and you're waiting, then go ahead. Just be aware you're kind of wasting your hydrogen on that. So yeah. While we're waiting, you can see some of the planets that we can go to. You can see them all in the sky, and they're all kind of a far distance. So yeah. While we're here, we can go into the cockpit, hit K, go to we have an antenna, go here, and we can name it respawn point. And we can turn up the broadcast radius from 100 kilometers to 100 meters to 2 meters to 50,000 meters, so 50 kilometers there. You definitely want to do that. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys, it's not good. So you're on. So I'm going to go here, I'm going to more top shift, strictly again. And do a patch, you don't need that more. And you'll make the canvas for that last point. And what you do is you're going to compare to, and I think where's this thing on? Okay, do that. Oh, that. Okay, actually, Alright, so let's do this first. We're going to do this, turn sideways. We'll get landed right on that again. We'll use this up, down, watch it. So I'm going to lock, that lock, lift, go sideways. Okay, no, I don't wait. Okay. I'm trying to do this sideways then. And trying to do this sideways is a little peculiar. There we go. I can get access underneath. Give this hydrogen thruster. There's a conveyor right there. I can see the other side. Here, I have to look for the pieces real quick. Give me a second. It's right there, isn't it? Yeah, I think it's right there. Okay. So hit X to jetpack, space to go up, all that fun stuff. Start grinding down this small conveyor. Oh, there's a small cargo container. Then research it first. Okay, so all you want to do is just grind down this small cargo container to just below functional, and weld it back up. Voila. Now you have access to the conveyor junctions and all of that. So we can go hit G, go to all blocks, conveyor, and we can take the conveyor with the plus. Now the conveyor with the plus, all it does is allows us to cycle through all the conveyor related stuff. And you do that with middle mouse button and scrolling up or down. Now what we want to do is get a conveyor junction, place it here, and we'll place one right here. Then we'll put all of our refineries right here and line them up. Now we're only missing 7 mortars, so we can start the basic assembler. Then we gotta do the conveyor junctions and the refinery, then we'll be good. Then we set this up, the wind tower, which shouldn't take too long. Shouldn't take too long. Keywords.